Hi, I'm Andy Webb from BeCleverWithYourCash.com. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button, and maybe if you can see it, a little notification bell as well, because that means you'll find out about all the latest videos as soon as I publish them, whether it's about saving money, making money, or better managing your money. And that's what this video today is all about: how to stop spending money, or at least how to spend less money when you're out and about. So if you're an impulse shopper or someone who's got maybe a little bit of an addiction to going out and spending money and shopping, this is the video for you, with some simple tips, some simple tricks that you can use to make sure that when you are out and about, that you can think twice and hopefully not spend that money that you don't want to spend. So look, we've all been there, we've all been seeing something in the shops going, oh, that looks all right, that looks nice, you hadn't planned to buy it, but you buy it. But for some people, it's worse. You do this all the time. You're impulse shopping on a daily, weekly basis, potentially spending money that you don't have to spend. So how can you stop doing this? How can you cut out buying the things that you don't want to spend money on? Or it could just well be the fact that you've got something else you're saving for. You're saving for a mortgage deposit for your house. You're saving for a holiday. Those kind of things where you think you'd rather have some money elsewhere. You've got bigger priorities, but even so, you still go out and you're spending this money and you're thinking, where's my cash going? And it's on that kind of impulse spending. So what can you do? Well, I think one of the most important things you can do, the first thing to do, I would say, is try and identify what is happening when you are spending money. Is there a location? Is there some company, the people you're with? Is there a certain mood? What is it that's happening when you're spending that money? So location, for example, it could be a particular shop that you always pass it and you pop into it and somehow always walk out with a bag of something. It could be you're always buying a book. It could be you're always buying clothes. Who knows what it is, okay? But if you've got a certain place you're always going to, very, very simply, if you can identify that as the problem, there might be more than one of these shops, of course. Try to go there less often. Try and take, if it's on your walk to work or something like that, try and take a different route. If it's a shop and a certain place, a certain shopping centre, well, maybe try and go somewhere else for your supermarket groceries if these other shops aren't there by a different supermarket. Whatever you can do to try and avoid the places which you know are going to trigger your spending. Likewise, one of these triggers could be certain people. You're out with your friends and they all say, oh, that looks great, yeah, you've got to buy this, or whatever it might be. If you know there are certain people that make you spend money, as good-natured, as well-meaning as it might be, try and find different activities to go on with them. Maybe it's going just for a coffee with them somewhere, again, not near loads of shops, but try and think of the things, the people who might somehow indirectly or even directly make you spend money. Try not to be in situations with them where you're going to spend some cash. It could also be, for example, your mood. We all talk about people who have a little bit of retail therapy. The idea, a bit of a little pick me up because they're feeling a bit blue, and one of the things is to go and spend some money in some shops. Now, yeah, you might get a little bit of a high, but it's going to be short-lived, isn't it? So maybe try and replace that kind of little kick that you get with something else. Something, I don't know, maybe if you're up for it, if you like a physical activity, maybe going for a run might give you those endorphins. Perhaps it's just watching your favourite comedy show, something that's going to make you laugh. Watch that. Again, that's always necessarily, I think, a better thing than getting your going to retail therapy, because this kick doesn't last long. Whatever you're doing is going to disappear. But at least if you have gone for a run, or you've watched something that's made you laugh, or whatever else it might be, that alternative thing, there isn't a repercussion later on, because your bank balance won't have changed, and you aren't necessarily potentially bought something which is going to make you feel even bluer later on, because you feel bad about doing that, bad about potentially wasting that money. So again, that's another thing to think about, potentially trying to avoid. You might also have one of these people who think, oh, it's payday. So the opposite side. So rather than shopping when you're feeling a bit down, you suddenly get the cash and you're like, fantastic, right, now's the time, I've got this money, I'm going to go and spend. And all of a sudden, just within a day or 2 days, you splash the cash and you haven't got the money left. So if that's the case, well, identify that. If you know that is when it's happening, try and find the things that will stop you spending money on those days. Now, I will later in this video explain a few of the different things you can do to sort of deliberately set up some barriers, which, if you have these in place, can make it more difficult for you to spend money. Okay, so that might be the answer for those kind of situations. Likewise, you might be, if you're bored, if you know you're spending money when you're bored, you're sitting at home and you've got your phone and you think, right, scroll, click, buy. Again, if you can identify that that is when it's happening, try and find something to replace that with. Maybe you've always got a book or a magazine near you at home, by the sofa, by the bed, whatever it is, so you can read those rather than shop online. You'll know all the things that you like, the things that you possibly can enjoy. Maybe if it's, say, on your phone, maybe it's a game that you can play instead, right? Rather than doing the shopping online. Anything you can think of. If you identify what the problem is, then it makes it a lot easier if you try and find ways to avoid that or ways to replace it with something else. So that's the first thing to do, identify what those triggers are. Now, of course, you're still going to be out, you still are going to be shopping. I'm not saying never buy anything. There are going to be certain things that you do need and you do want to buy them. So to help you if you are shopping and you're going to buy those things, just to help you avoid buying other things, some of those impulse purchases, it really helps to have a list of the things that you need and stick to it. And we talk this quite a lot in supermarkets, and this absolutely is very relevant for supermarket shopping, and avoid those special offers, avoid this, avoid that. But it's true for anything you're buying, any shop you're going to, or any sort of shopping centre or town centre that you're going to. If you've got a list, then you can stick to it and just go to the places that sell that item and just buy the items you need. That kind of, if you can stick to that framework, that piece of paper or that note on your phone, whatever it is, then hopefully that will cut out some of those extra things that you are buying. Now, when you've got that list, something really important to do is just to make sure you haven't already got something in the home that does the job already. Could be identical, could be something very, very similar. Clothes is a perfect thing for this because year after year, obviously you might forget some of the things you bought a year ago, 2 years ago, things that are particularly very seasonal, you know, your winter wear, your summer wear that you might have just had it there, particularly if you've got a bad summer or a warm winter, you might not have worn that stuff as much and you can forget that you've got it, but it could be perfectly good and almost identical to the thing you're going to buy now. So just double check what you've got already. And it's not just clothes. Have a look at anything on that list to make sure whatever it is, whatever room in the house it could be in, stuff at the back of the cupboard, a gift that you forgot you were given, all these things, just check you don't already have something and stop yourself buying it. So let's say now you're out in the shops, you're armed with this list, you're avoiding most of the things, but out the corner of your eye, you see some kind of promotion, some special offer, some sale price that looks fantastic. And it's something you kind of think, that looks pretty nice. It's not on the list, I don't need it, it's not like an essential, but potentially it's a luxury or something a little bit more fun to have. And there's no reason, if you can afford it, there's no reason why you shouldn't buy things. You shouldn't just stick to the things which you have to have, which are essential, if you've got the money to buy some of these extra things, as long as you think you're actually going to use them or wear them or whatever it might be. So you spot this thing, you think that looks like a great price. Well, what should you do? Well, ideally, with any kind of purchase, if you're not sure about it, any kind of impulse thing, is to wait 24 hours, if you can. If you give that break and you still the next day, you think you still want it, go back and get it. Yeah, or if it's online again, wait 24 hours. If you still want it the next day, log back in and then buy it. Because that's a really good thing to think about, that kind of get that immediate impulse. Oh, fantastic, I want to get that. A day later, if you're less bothered, you're not bothered really, don't buy it, avoid it. Now with sale prices, you might think I can't do that because it might be gone. There might only be a few left in stock, the prices could go back up, I might miss out on the special offer, which is true. So if you are going to do that, then it's really, really important that you make sure you know what the returns policy is. Now, if you're buying online, you're all right, you've got 14 days to return something, but do check whether you're going to get charged to return something, because some places they won't give you free returns, okay? So find out what that information is. And if you're buying it in a shop, do make sure they're going to let you bring something back. There's no legal requirement to, unless it's broken, but if you change your mind, they don't have to let you bring something back, and they don't have to give you a cash refund either. They might just give you a credit note to spend in the shop again, and that might not be what you want. So make sure you understand all of those things, and if it is something which you can return easily, and again, doing that in a shop, there won't be any charge to that. You just have to get back to that shop to take it back and get your money back. Then okay, great. Then buy it, but then still think about it. And if you still got it in its box, in its packet, within a couple of days, within a week, you don't need it. Take it back. Just make sure you know how long you've got to return it. Again, online, you've got at least 14 days from when it's been delivered. In shops, it can vary. So just do make sure you understand what that policy is. But again, if you haven't opened it, if it's still in its bag and it's sitting there, again, it wasn't a good purchase, it was an impulse buy, take it back, get your refund. Now there's also a service you can use online to help you wait and kind of delay that purchase. It's called Icebox. Now you'll find this at finder.com/UK. So go onto that website and search for it. It's called Icebox, and what it lets you do is to pause and freeze certain online shopping websites so you can't actually spend money, okay? So that's another, again, it delays it for 24 hours. So you see something, you like it, but if you've activated it, you can't buy it. So you have to, again, spend that little bit more time thinking about it. And thinking about stuff is so, so important, because you really kind of come to terms then with whether it's something that you actually want to spend your money on again. And that could be a really important tool to stop you spending money. And also when you're thinking about that, I made a video a few weeks ago about setting a savings goal and how to keep to a savings goal. And one of the best things there to make sure you're putting money into savings, into a separate savings pot, is to have something in mind that you are going to buy, something that's really important. Now, if you can have that in mind when you go shopping, particularly if you need to delay things 24 hours, you're thinking, right, I could buy that coat for 100 quid, yeah? But maybe I also, would it be better? I'd much rather have that £100 go towards the holiday, the car, whatever it might be. And that's a really useful thing to have. So think about that anyway, if you can, what your savings goal is, have that, but spend that time. If you have it, it's more likely for you to kind of weigh up how important that purchase is for you. So that's some simple things that you can do. Now I'm going to quickly share with you a few actual physical barriers you can put in place to stop that spending, or at least make it a lot more difficult. Now the best one of these, I think, is a really simple one. It's to use cards less. And if you can avoid using cards at all, that's fantastic, because spending with a card is so easy, isn't it? Particularly if you're in a shop, you just tap it if it's under 30 quid, put your chip and pin, whatever it might be. You don't even think about it. You just spend the money easy, yeah? If you only take cash with you, you leave the cards at home, one, you've only got as much cash as you've brought with you to spend. So if you haven't got the money, you can't spend it. But secondly, there's something really powerful about actually handing money over to the shop. Notes and coins. There's something much more sort of tangential about you can see, right, this is how much it costs. For some reason, it kind of embeds in your mind a lot more exactly how much money you are spending. So that's a great little tool you can have. So just take cash out with you. At home, obviously, if you're shopping online, you can't have that option, but there are some certain things you can do to make it more difficult to use your credit card. So at the very least, get rid of one-click purchasing. You see this on lots of websites. Click one button and you've bought something with a linked card behind it. Get rid of that straight away, because that is completely frictionless and you're going to spend a lot more money that way if you can. Even better than that, don't store any saved card details at all, because again, you've then got to get your card out of your purse, out of your wallet. You've got to enter it in. You've got to go through that process. You've got to now a lot of the time a kind of that second code sent to your phone to enter that in. Anything that kind of gives you a bit more time to think about what it is you're buying and how important it is that your money goes towards that purchase and not towards your savings goal. So that's a really good thing. And the top level of that is not even have any online accounts, which means every time you've also got to put in your name and address and check out as a guest. Again, anything you can do to put a little bit more friction into that process. And actually, when we talk about online shopping as well, something that can help you avoid talking about the triggers earlier on, if you don't sign up to any of the newsletters, any of the mailing lists, then you won't know about special offers or new styles or new products, or whatever it might be that comes through. So that, again, an extra barrier in place to make sure you're not, those triggers to making you spend money at all. I would also delete any apps you have on your phone, particularly if shopping on your phone is one of your triggers. Delete the apps. Again, you can still shop, you can still go into the browser on your phone, but it makes that a little bit more difficult, a little bit more friction, a little bit more likely to be distracted and go down some sort of weird rabbit hole of other kind of things on the internet. So that's a good thing to do. Remove the bookmarks. Again, all these extra little things that can create a little bit more friction. And one thing you can do, this is maybe a little bit more extreme as well, but going back to actual physical credit cards, you can, and lots of people talk about doing this way, put it in some water in a mug or something like that and put it in the freezer. So you freeze the card in some ice. So if you need to get it and you need to spend on money, you've got to let it defrost. Obviously you can't put it in the microwave because it's metal, so you've got to let it naturally over time defrost. So that's if you're not sure you've got the willpower to just wait 24 hours or do those extra bits and pieces. If you can't use your card because it's in some ice, you can't use some card. So there you go, lots of different things there. Hopefully, if you are someone who does shop on impulse quite a lot, this is really going to help you spend less money. Because I think that is the key thing here. It's trying to identifying what it is that makes you spend money. What are those triggers? If you know what they are, try and find those alternatives. Now, whether that's different things to do with people, different places to go, or different ways of spending money, all of them can be really, really important. And then from there, think about how you want to spend your money. Are there more important things to you? Okay, and if there are, prioritize them. And finally, what are those little extra things, barriers that you can put in place that makes it harder for you to spend money? All of those things together will stop you spending money. Now, I'm not saying again that you should stop spending money at all, but if you have a reason why you want to spend less, these are things that can help. Thanks so much for watching. Please do click the thumbs up below this video if you've liked this. It really helps other people find the video. Until next time, cheers.